back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. We are doing today a sit down video. We're doing the 24 books I have loved in 2024. I'm so excited to film this video. I have read a lot more than what I read last year on my Kindle, both my Kindle and my book, like physical as well. Physical, I have read a couple, I went through a lot of my book advent calendar from last year and I tackle a lot of it. I'd say more than 15 books, which is really good, but we still have like 10 more and I doubt that I will finish that by the end of the year. That's just not gonna happen. Without that further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I have 24 books and I currently am on number 41. My book goal of this year was 50, which I don't think I'm gonna meet my goal because we're like 3 weeks till the end of December and I am 37 weeks pregnant and I really doubt I'm gonna read 9 books in 3 weeks. There's just no way. Without that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get started with you guys. I have all the books here on my notes. I wrote them down for you guys, really nice. You all know me. I like being organized this way. So first book we have is, and I rated it 4.5 out of 5 star. This is a found family romance book, I think it's called. Is that how you say it? Family found romance. It's small town and they are road tripping her whole entire family. The female main character, they're technically 2, they're sisters. Every single chapter varies from like the grandparents road tripping, the parents road tripping, and the sisters, and they are just trying to meet the 3rd sister in a whole different town, but they're in the middle of like a snowstorm, so a lot goes down. There's a lot of drama, there is hidden secrets between the family. Again, very found family because they all come into a conclusion, stuff and whatever problems they have. I rated this 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was really good, and I don't know, it just lived the reality of what it's like to spend Christmas, like the holidays with the family, like trying to solve where we're gonna spend Christmas this year, you know, like all that, like the reality of it. The next one I have is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I loved this book. This was my first 5-star of this year and it made me discover a love for this author. I've been wanting to read her books for the longest time and this gave me Grey's Anatomy vibes. I absolutely loved it and I ate this book up. I literally read it in like a couple days and I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. It's like enemies, like a little tiny bit of enemies moment to friends to lovers, and there's fake dating trope in this. There is he falls for her first, there's secrets. I don't want to spoil it. It's so good. After that, I read another 5 stars. I read The Fake Out by Stephanie Archer. I read Behind the Net last year and I really loved it, but The Fake Out, I just love me a good enemies to lovers kind of book. The spiciness as well, because I'm a smut girly. It has a little bit of those too, and it has fake dating. He falls for her first. He has had a crush on this girl for the longest time. She is like, I would never date a hockey player. Like, she swore to her life she would never ever date another hockey player because her ex is a hockey player and he screwed her over really badly. And the MMC is so caring and like loving towards her in a whole other level. I love these couple. These are one of my favorite couples that I've read this year. 5 out of 5. Stephanie Archer, I don't know what you do in these books, but oh my god, please don't stop. It's so good. Like these books, like I go through them quickly because Behind the Net, I remember I read it in like 2 or 3 days. And number 4, I have Alive and Wells by Bailey Hannah. This book was in, if I'm not mistaken, in my Notion. I have put it a list of the books that I really wanted to read this year that were not in my book advent calendar. Aside from that, that was one of them, and I say this was like a book talk kind of book and it lived all my expectations. It was, I'd say, like a little bit of enemies to friends to lovers, but there is trigger warnings in this book. There is physical and verbal abuse, and I don't know what else. There's a little bit of everything. So it starts a page turner. As soon as the book starts, it's like, it's intrigued. Like it has you intrigued. Like, oh my god, what else is gonna go wrong? You know, like small town romance. I absolutely love this book. I love the found family. There is a little bit of found family in this book, and it's so good. The MMC in this book gives me golden retriever vibes too, so I really love that. Again, I rated it 4.5 out of 5. It was so good. I loved it. Another favorite is Things We Hide from the Light, Lucy Score. This book, I don't know why it was hated till there's no tomorrow, but maybe because the MMC. I hated his guts, and I think that's why I rated it just a 4 out of 5. I didn't rate it, would have rated it 5 out of 5 if he was a little bit of a less of an ass, because he was. Just the way there was a lot of miscommunication in this book. I also didn't enjoy that. I'm not a huge fan of miscommunication, but it was still good. I enjoyed it. It was like slow paced. It was a slow burner. That's what it was. Definitely a slow burner, but in a good way. And yeah, there's miscommunication, but it was good. Spicy level was 10 out of 10. It was really good. There goes my background. This is like the other freaking ad that's been playing. Bear with me with the ads, guys. After that, I read Flawless by Elsie Silver. Listen, my love for the Chestnut Spring series, now I get the hype. Like, come on. I love it. Rated this book 4.5 out of 5. I loved it. Enemies to lovers, small town cowboy romance kind of book. I loved it. I didn't think that I would love so much like cowboy small town romance kind of books. They're so good. I, especially Elsa Silver's books, like lived all my expectations. I loved it. Rated it 4.5. Sorry, that is actually not in my Kindle. It's actually physical. I don't know why I didn't grab the book, but it was so good. And it's like friends with benefits also kind of thing. I believe so. They have their own rules, but oh my god, he falls for her first and they make their own rules, but of course there's one that they can't break. I think that one is the one that was like they can't fall for each other. I don't know, something like that, but it was so good. Ate it up too. If I could re-rate it, I would probably rate it 5 out of 5, but I think the MMC, the way he screwed up in this book, was the end of it. I didn't like that. I think that's why I rated it 4.5, but it was still really, really good. After that, I forgot the series, the name of the series, but I read 2 back to back. I read Mile High by Liz Tomford, and that one was a 4 out of 5 stars. I loved it. I don't know what it is about a flight attendant with a famous, I can't remember if it was a basketball player or a hockey player. I don't know. It just, wow. I never would have thought that I would love a couple like that so much. And I ate this book up too. 4.5 out of 5. Spice, insane. The ending, Chef's Kisses, I loved it. And I just love how he falls for her first. Since day one, he's like, just please give me a chance. I think he's been with a bunch of girls and like he hadn't been with this girl specifically. He's a player. And she's like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna date a player. Like, she doesn't date players. And I think they're like one night stand type of thing, and then they like how the one night stand went down, and then they decide to be friends with benefits, I think, because they can't keep their hands off each other. And then next thing you know, he falls for her first. And there's trigger warnings, I think, in this book, because there's like stuff going on between her side of the family and his as well. It's a little effed up stuff, so I would read into that first before reading the book. But it was so good. And then I read the second book. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't love the second book, so we're not even gonna talk about it, but it was cringy. Okay, I don't know why people say that this guy is golden retriever vibes. The spice on the second book was weird. The Right Move, I think it's called. Number 8 is the third book on this series, was Caught Up by Liz Tomford. 5 out of 5. The MMC is a baseball player. I've never read a baseball player MMC kind of book. The female is the nanny, and it's single dad trope, small town again. It was so good, guys. Like, I'm telling you, lived all my expectations. Rated a 5 out of 5 stars. It's like enemies to lovers at first, and then he falls for her first, I'd say. But she's so nice and loving, like, oh my god, the most nicest woman possible. And then he just comes, he instantly judges her by the looks in the beginning of the book, and then yeah, slap him in the face because he did that. But then he eventually apologizes for that. But it was so good. I loved it. I 10 out of 10 recommend. By the way, I'm leaving the best for last because I reread this book again. I read it this in the beginning of this year, and then I reread it, so I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna know which one it is because I talked about it on my Instagram. But number 9 is The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. 4 out of 5 this book, guys. Oh my god, the plot twist. I gave this book, my sister read this book during when she was here for summer, and she was like page turner. She was like, oh shit, this book is good. Like, I don't think I've ever read a thriller book. And I think that's when she found her love for thriller books, and I was like, maybe that's for you. Maybe you like thriller books more than romance. But it was a page turner. The plot twist and the ending, the audacity, I was shocked. I think it's something you don't see coming, and I think I was more shocked than the Frida McFadden's plot twist. It was good, but I rated it 4 out of 5 because I just love like the ending. I was shocked with it, but I hated how it ended. So number 10, we have The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. Listen, this book, I want to show you guys. I have never in my life tabbed a book. I have never in my life tabbed a book. The only one that I have ever tabbed, because the quotes in this, I'm sorry, you could live somewhere your entire life and still find things to surprise you. I'm gonna read some quotes. It was so good. Insane. I loved it. And both of these characters, insane. Being close to him felt like a story I didn't know the ending to. The fizzy rock feeling in my bones I always got when my aunt smiled at me with all of her teeth, her eyes bright and wild, and asked on an adventure. He was an adventure. One I suddenly knew I wanted to take without a shadow of a doubt. I wanted this. I wanted him. Guys, this book. There was never grief without love or love without grief. I choose to think that my aunt lived because of them, because of all the light and love and joy that she found in the shadows of everything that plagued her. She lived because she loved, and she lived because she was loved. And what a lovely lifetime she gave us. I love it. 5 out of 5. The quotes, the moments, what happens in the apartment, like, oh my god, so magical, so beautiful. 5 out of 5. I'd say this book is the second one from my first one, because we gotta love the first one. And here we go again with another. Number 11. Let's bring her in. We have Miss Heartless by Elsie Silver. Again, single dad, cowboy, small town romance. Oh my god. And a nanny. She's a nanny too. I think I'm a sucker for single dad tropes. I can't. Those kind of books, I just live for them. But the way this book begins, it's hilarious and it's funny. I giggled, but I absolutely love it. It was 5 out of 5. I remember, okay, I'm gonna lie, I first rated it 4 out of 5, and then I went back and I re-rated it 5 out of 5 in my Goodreads, because I don't know what made me think about rating it 4 out of 5. I don't know why, because I was like, Daya, why would you do that? You absolutely love this book. You would reread this if they let you. And oh my god, I so would. It was so good. I loved it. This is the last one that I've read, because after that I was like, I don't want this series to end, and I think I'm on to my last book. Isn't it like 4 of them, if I'm not mistaken? This is the 3rd book. It's 4 of them, so I've read 2. I haven't read Powerless, but I have the book there. After that I read Binding 13 and Keeping 13. Number 13, number 12 and 13 by Courtney Walsh. I rated Binding 13 4 out of 5. This is YA romance. There's a lot of trigger warnings in here. Please read the trigger warnings. This book made me, the female main character went through in this book, parents, it was heartbreaking, and oh my god, it was heart-shattering for sure. I think I felt even triggered. I think that's why I rated it 4 out of 5, because I was like, oh my god, this book is affecting me. I was in tears reading this book. Oh my god, the way he cares for her, the way the MMC would do anything for them not to bully her, and the stuff that he finds out that she went through in previous schools, and insane. And I wish there was another 3rd book of them, because the 1st and 2nd book, yeah, it was good. I hated that the 1st book ended like so abruptly, and you're like, okay, I need to read the 2nd one. And then Keeping 13, during this whole Binding 13, there's no spice at all during this. It's like they're falling for each other, they love each other, like they not love each other, not to that level, but they fall for each other. They're friends to lovers. However, they don't become lovers till Keeping 13. Keeping 13, they're like actually dating, and she is opening up more towards him. All the stuff that she went down with her family, and he's trying to basically take her out of the situation that she is going through with her family. And Keeping 13, chef's kiss. It was 5 out of 5 for me. I loved it, and oh my god, Jesus. But it was 5 out of 5. I love it. I have not read the next book. I feel like I'm in a little bit of a, I need a break from that heartbreak, because it was intense. The trigger warnings is insane what she went through. It's crazy. But after that we have number 14, which is the first ever book, like thriller type of book that I read from Colleen Hoover. This is Too Late. I think it came out last year, and it was really good. I rated it 4 out of 5 in my Goodreads. Yeah, the boyfriend during this, okay, how do I describe this? There's an agent undercover, but that's not the boyfriend. The boyfriend is like Sloane's boyfriend in the beginning of the book. He's a psycho. Okay, let me just say, I just felt like strangling him, because the way he like physically abused her, verbally, it was messed up. like messed up, and I'm just glad this book, just how everything turned out eventually, okay, for the better. The agent undercover falls for the girl. He's trying to help her. He's aware of what she's going through, and he's trying to help her, and they fall for each other. They have like a hidden relationship because she is still with the boyfriend. She can't break up with the psycho one because he's a psycho, and yeah, it's insane. And what goes down, it's crazy. She wrote this book really, really good. I loved it. 4 out of 5. I can't remember the plot twist, or if there was a plot twist, but if there is, I'm sure it was good, because again, I rated it 4 out of 5. Number 15. This was a book talk. Yeah, this book has been all over my TikTok last year. That's why I bought it for my book advent calendar. This is The Home Run Proposal by Marin Moore. YA. I'd say it's friends to lovers. It's insane how this book, like what is about. Basically, it's him teaching her how to lose her virginity, like how to give herself pleasure. Some parts are cringy, but yeah, because he's older than her. They're both in college. It's like YA, but they're like college, so I'd say that's YA for me. She's best friends with his brother, and they are secretly getting through that virginity, how to lose my virginity kind of process secretly. The brother doesn't know. It's a really good book. It's fast-paced, which is why I rated it 4 out of 5. Loved it. After that, I read A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This was the second book, the ACOTAR series. First book was really good, but I didn't want to put that book in this list because I rated 4 out of 5. Okay, the second book, 5 out of 5. Like, my god, this fantasy world in this book, and they were enemies to lovers, and once they become lovers, it's like, oh my god, beautiful, breathtaking kind of love. He has always tried to care for her, but she never saw it. She never opened her eyes and understood the reasons why he was trying to make her know who the MMC in the first book is, like who that person is, because I thought it was a whole different person. I thought I loved book 1, like the couple, and then once I read book 2 and it's not the same MMC, I was shocked. And I loved the MMC in this book more than the first one. The first one made me want to freaking slap him. I don't remember if he dies. No, but I don't want to spoil it. I don't remember, so I don't really want to say if he does or not, because I genuinely cannot remember. But it was so good. I rated it 5 out of 5. I wish if I lived in a fairy tale land, it would be in this book. I swear. And just the friends in this book, how they like care for one another. I love it. I absolutely love it. I feel like I'm not explaining myself the best. I hope I am. Again, I'm not a book YouTuber, so it's really hard for me to explain about books, but try my best to just keep it nice and simple and not super long. After that, I read book 2 from Bailey Hannah's book, Seeing Red. Wow. Guys, this book was so good. I rated it 5 out of 5 because it was beautiful. I didn't think that I would love the pregnancy trope, but in this book, it was portrayed so good and so well that I absolutely loved it. The way he was there for her all this time. This was like a oops kind of pregnancy. One night stand turned into she's pregnant, and then he finds out and he's like, why hasn't she told me? And he takes the heck, let me say just the heck, care out of her. Like, he loves this girl from day one. Like, shows it, and in different ways, you know. It's like golden retriever kind of vibes. I love it. These series is really underrated, let me tell you, because it was so good. I rated it 5 out of 5 and I absolutely loved it. After that, I didn't actually read after this, but the next book that I loved was Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I rated this 4.5 out of 5. This also gave golden retriever, friends to lovers. I just love how they tried, you know, am I rating the right book? Yeah. I was like, wait, is this a different book? No. How Justin tries his best to fight for this relationship. I did not love the third act breakup on this book, but it was worth it. But I felt like it broke up with me. It was really sad, but it was really, really good. I rated this 4.5 out of 5 because this is such a good summer romance book. Loved it. It was the perfect kind of book. It's thick. I'm telling you, it's fast paced. Like, you're gonna read through this so fast. After that, I read Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Meany. Listen, this book. I would have never thought. I went in with no expectations. I went in without reading the back of the book, like the description. So at first I was confused, and then I was like mind blown with the plot twist, the ending. Guys, insane. Like, you have to read this book. This book is a definition of a thriller, like a thrilling book, like an actual thrilling book. It was crazy. I rated it 4.5 out of 5. I did not love the ending. That's why I didn't rate it 5 out of 5, but it was really good. After that, I read My Neighbor Stole Christmas by Megan Quinn. This was my first holiday book. It was a little too long, like too thick for my liking. I love short romance holiday book reads. Like, there's stuff that could have been skipped. I think that's why I rated it 4 out of 5. Damn, like I think this is my first ever Megan Quinn book, and I've heard her spice book, like the spiciness of the books are so good, and they definitely are. I loved it. I remember reading this. It was fast paced. The only thing that made me cringe was the nicknames that they gave each other during the spicy levels, the spicy scenes. Yeah, it made me rethink, like, why would you say that kind of thing, you know? But love it. It was 4 out of 5. After that, the next one that I loved was The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmer. I took so long to read this book. I had this book in my book at my calendar, but I told myself I was gonna read it during spring, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna read it during fall because it's more fall than spring. It was really good. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. It was small town romance. I've never watched Gilmore Girls, so I can't say that it definitely gave Gilmore Girl vibes, but I'm sure it did, because it was like it was like this cheesy kind of book. I don't know, it gave fall vibes for sure. I will say though, both of these characters, the female and male, I feel like it was unrealistic the way they just fell for each other. Like, it was like love at first sight kind of book, and that really doesn't happen like in the reality. That's not the reality of in this world, and that was kind of not the best part that I loved about this book. And I don't know, it was just, that's my least favorite part, but overall it was good, and I read through it within a week and a half, I think it took me to read it. After that, we got 3 more. The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, I think it's called. I hope I don't butcher the name, but 4 out of 5. This book, the plot twist, and this is like Frida McFadden level. It was insane. The only thing I didn't love about this book was like the ending. I was so shocked. I didn't know how to think about it. I think I didn't like it. I still to this day don't know what to think about it, but I didn't love the ending. And then I didn't also love that there was not a lot of like talking during this book, conversations. It was just very descriptive, and I don't love books like that. Like, I enjoy the conversation. Talk to me, like, she said this, he said that. It was just really descriptive, like narrative, like just a narrator talking, narrator. And I still read through it pretty quickly. It was 4 out of 5 for me. After that, Frida McFadden, the last book that I read from her, from the Housemaid series, The Housemaid is Watching. This book, I think it was really up there with the first book of this series. I rated it 4 out of 5. It was insane. The plot twist in this book, wow. I remember reading this book and I was like, my blood pressure was spiking because of how insane it was. But 4 out of 5. Again, Frida McFadden is gonna do it for me always. Whenever I want to read a fast-paced book and I'm in a book slump, I'm gonna go always to Frida McFadden, because her books are just so good, and they're really quick to get you out of a slump. And I love a nice thriller, so it was insane. If you know, you know this book. And last but not least, I'm leaving the best for last. This book, I think, is up there with Icebreaker, Twisted Games by Anna Huang. I reread this book, guys. I read it at the beginning of this year in February. I discovered this book. I rated it 5 out of 5. I don't know how I didn't tap this book. I love that it's thick. It's a perfect length. I love it. I wish there was more. I wish the epilogue was longer, because it's like Princess Diaries kind of book. Like, she falls for her bodyguard. At first they're like enemies to lovers, and oh my god, the way he cares. He falls for her first, and he's like, once you're mine, you're mine. That is, there's no going back. Just a warning. Insane, guys. I love it. I loved it. Lived all my expectations. Rated this 5 out of 5. I reread this book during summer because I was in a book slump, and I was like, I need to read this book and see if it gets me out of the slump. And it didn't. It kind of did, but at the same time, like, I was still in a book slump. But oh my god, I reread it, and it was still a 5 out of 5 for me. I wish I tapped this book, because the quotes, the phrases, everything they say, oh my god, so loving. Wow, one day I want to be a princess, be royalty. In another world, I would so be her. But it was so good. Out of this series, out of all the books in the series, I love this one. And I don't think, and the other two, I don't think they're gonna top it for me. I think after this one I was like, oh my god, I can't read the third book, so I took a break. Again, it's a book that I wanted to finish. It's like the Elsie Silver's books. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That is my 24 books that I have loved in 2024. I am really grateful that I at least am almost at my, oh, baby boy's kicking, somebody's hungry, at least almost in my reading goal of this year. At least I made it almost, you know. It's okay. Sorry, my son is trying to break my ribs right now. So I'm like out of breath. I loved it. I hope you guys loved it too. And I hope you guys love this vibes. The background, love us. Some nice Christmassy background. And I hope you guys enjoyed your holidays. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn the post notification bell on so you guys can be notified every time I post a video. And with that being said, please let me know in the comments. Really? Not the ad. Please let me know in the comments which book you like the most out of these. Like if you've read one of these, please let me know. I would love to know your opinions as well. I would love to have the nice background before I close the video, but I don't think we're gonna have to. I got shit to get done. So with that being said, I'll see you guys on the next one. Adios.